I suppose that anybody 93 years old, as I am, might be concerned about old age and death. I'm not concerned about either one of them. I've never had any fear about death. I came close to it a couple of times. It didn't worry me. I take it as a part of the natural sequence of life. And I don't fear old age. I feel as Mr. Gandhi did, who said when somebody asked him whether he feared old age and death, he said, no. He said, every night I die, and every morning I'm reborn. He said, today is enough for me. Well, I live that way. Today is enough. Tomorrow will come, yes. I hope it'll come. If it doesn't come, that's all right with me, too. Of course, I don't like pain and illness and disease. I would avoid them at any time. But they aren't necessarily associated with death. You can die without. You can die in your sleep without hardly knowing it. So that I'm always prepared to go or stay. And I enjoy being here. And I have no sense of a hereafter. And I'm through, I expect to be through. And that doesn't worry me either. Helps to get a profile out of me as if I could, in a few minutes, a fairly short time, expose all of myself, but you only can expose part of yourself.
Yeah. There's limitations, isn't it?
Well, the whole business, of course, is something that takes a long time. I don't know that I know it all myself. You know, who knows himself? You know what other people, you don't even know what other people think of you now. Very difficult to know what you really amount to from your own point of view, you see, because it's hard to see.
Yeah. Should one care about that?
And I think it's better not to be conscious about it. Better not to be
conscious.
Yeah, forget yourself. I lived in this house here with my family for 45 years. My wife and I first came here in the early 1930s. We've raised 3 children in this family, and now 2 grandchildren. Since my wife died some years ago, I've been living with my daughter and her Roman husband. Law. After all, that's the basis of everything in civilization. If you don't have rules, which we call law, by which people get along with each other, you have chaos, you have anarchy, you have just the law of the jungle. So law is the essential basis of everything I'm interested in and every society in which you live. And law, unfortunately, also is force. It's also coercion. Make people do what the law regards as right. What the law regards as right is not always morally right, but nevertheless it's the way people have agreed upon to get along. And it's the basis of everything that I've been doing most of my life. Well, as I have already explained when we talked to Mr. Reitman, the Union is a much more formidable and democratic and influential organization in our early days, where we were quite elitist. You know, we had a lot of distinguished people who thought they had influence, and they had some influence. But today it goes down into the roots of our national life, as we didn't before. Now, my friend Mr. Naya here has been associated with us now for about 12 years, I guess, something
15,
like that.
15 years now.
15 years. He's well qualified to speak for the organization. He knows it from the bottom up.
We do have some 6,000 court cases during the course of the year. It's hard to even keep track of all of the cases that we're involved in, the legislative battles that we're involved in state legislatures all around the country, as well as in the Congress of the United States. I think that the most important thing, though, is that we have managed to adhere to the principles which Roger embodied when he was the director of the organization for its first 30 years, and I think that the test of the ACLU will always be whether we adhere to those principles.
Well, of course, it was just sticking to the Bill of Rights, really, within our interpretation of the Bill of Rights. We didn't get very far from the moorings of our own country.
We've always taken the view that if people could speak freely, could associate freely, could join together to complain of things that they believe are wrong, that they had the power to set things aright. And therefore free speech was essential to dealing with every other kind of problem. And we regard defense of free speech always as our most important mission.
And that covers, of course, the field of expression in all forms, art and publication, so-called pornography, obscenity, whatever the relationship is in which people want to express themselves. I don't think I can breathe bigger than you can. How do you make it big?
There's no more soap. Blow softly.
I can't do so well. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Woo. Wait a second.
Pretty good. Oh, yeah. Much better than I can do. Can't do it. Oh. Hold it.
What?
Look.
I can't. And there's this. No.
I'm not a...
Wait, there's
No.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, love is an experience, I suppose, that everybody has, beginning with family love and going on to the love of people of all sorts. I don't think you can define it only as sexual love or family love or any other particular kind of love, because it's the force that holds us together and keeps us from living our lives in lonely isolation. It's the attachment that we have to life, the most important attachments we have to life. Well, I'm pretty cheerful. Yeah, most of the time. Oh, I can get depressed, of course. I get quite sad. I can get, yes, I get quite disgusted with myself, or yes. You fail yourself sometimes. You can't help it. I don't like failure. And I don't behave as well as I should. I disappoint myself, sure. If you're rude or thoughtless or unkind, or, you know, you can be that way with people, unkind or thoughtless, rude, ungenerous, and you kick yourself afterwards, either for what you did or what you didn't do. Some people I've treated very badly, very unjustly, and very unfairly. And there was nothing I could do about it, because that's the way I felt. I shouldn't have done it. Now, I don't think I want those, but I have to do this. Some of these things have some value. Not many of them. I get on one mailing list and I'm on all of them. They're endless. And most everybody raises money by mail nowadays anyhow. They don't solicit you by telephone or through any more direct contacts. So we're full of junk. A lot of waste paper in this world. I get an awful lot of it.
Team to Uruguay, because the Paraguay one was very successful in trying to stop human rights abuses.
Well, they had a bad situation there, haven't they? Yes, in Uruguay, yes.
And now,
Used to be a very hopeful country, didn't it?
Yes, it used to be one of the best.
I know, one of the best.
Very, very fast. And we also have put out a huge report on human rights violations in Guinea in Africa.
Where did we get the information on Guinea?
We got it from sources in Africa, Europe, and
do we have
the
sources
Americas.
in Guinea in a place like that? With somebody that we can rely upon?
Yes, we got very reliable
Oh, that's
information.
remarkable. I
Can't
didn't
use
know
the
that.
names, but it's very reliable. And now there are some, looks like there are going to be some improvements there, which is very
good.
significant, I think.
Are we making any complaint to the United Nations about these
Yes,
places?
now the Guinea report was sent to the United Nations.
We sent it
as a
already, yes.
complaint, yes. And so was the Paraguay report. And we're seeing if the UN is going to take them up.
Well, that's fine, because
People will have to think in terms of one world, not three worlds, or their own states, but they'll have to think of what's good for the world is good for us. And that the only solution, as is already true, is a global solution. Germs and bacteria and diseases don't recognize frontiers. The frontiers are always artificial. And only a solution that represents all of us, regardless of geography, will stick. I mean, these will be lasting solutions. Everything else, all regional solutions, all national solutions, are temporary.
And I've always had expected from this assembly exactly what I got, namely, a much greater understanding and cooperation between people. Mm-hmm. And now that the United Nations is practically universal, there's nobody, hardly anybody out, and nobody wants to get out once they get in. We've got a basis, you know, for international cooperation that we've never had before. Everybody feels that they do belong. And that's the first time, I think, in the world's history that we've had all the nations, all the peoples in the world at one place, when they can talk together. Now, it doesn't make so much difference what they
talk about.
It doesn't make so much difference.
They're talking.
The fact that they're together and they're discussing these common problems, and every problem you can think of is on this agenda this year. They've been there many times, the same problems, and they have no solution yet. But after all, we got a world still that I'm afraid is so well armed that it's not going to think much yet about how to get rid of those arms and how to create a world of law. But that's what you and I have been trying to do. And without a world of law, we can't get anywhere.
You know, sometimes people expect changes in a day. And when you think of what has happened in 30 years, it's quite a lot.
It's only 30 years. It's just one generation, and people forget that it takes much longer than that to pull the world together. Even to sit down and talk, let alone do anything about it.
I think it's remarkable what's been done in 30 years. Never happened before, most of the things that are happening here. Never even were tackled or discussed before.
Cities are tolerable only when one has an activity that can't conduct in the country. But the country, after all, is a natural place for most people. Some kind of relationship to nature, not a relationship just to the bricks and stones that make up a city. It's of course the community of a city is very necessary to people, and the community of a country is quite limited. But the community of a city can also be very stifling. People can become so dependent upon the conveniences of a city that they can lose their individuality, their freedom. But on the whole, cities are getting more and more to be habitable, more and more to be not only necessary, but even pleasurable. Delbrook is a very fortunate accident. 45 years ago, when I was trying to find a place for my camp, which had been in the eastern part of New Jersey, I had to move it. I looked around this country out here, and I just stumbled upon this place by accident. An old gentleman who'd had it for many years, he ran it as a sort of a farm, although he was a New Yorker and a lawyer, had died, and his widow had it on the market. And she was willing to sell it, or she was willing to lease it, and I leased it. Then I was stuck with a problem, because I not only had just my camp, but no opportunity to use a place as big as this. It was 200 acres, more than 200 acres. There were 5 buildings. It was a big place to keep up. So I got together a bunch of friends, and we started a cooperative. And they occupied each of the houses. We kind of chipped in, paid the expenses in common. And we started this arrangement of 4 or 5 families living together. And we've kept it up ever since. For 45 years, this place has been run as a cooperative. It's my legal residence. It's where I vote. It's what I regard as my home. My 3 children and my wife spent their weekends and their holidays here always for all these years. And it has been the family seat, but at the same time, it's been a cooperative for my friends. And we've always had 4 or 5 other families besides ourselves, so it's been a very pleasant social center. I asked him, what's the matter with my heart? And he said, he's old.
No? So you said, what's new, huh?
So he said, just give it a rest a while, give it a rest. I said, well, doctor, I was walking, I went diving, I went swimming. Oh, he said, don't do anything like that anymore. He said, don't do that anymore.
All right, well.
He said, take it easy, take long sleeps, and don't exert yourself too much, and you gotta get back in shape again.
All right. Tell Janie.
So he gave me 4 pills.
What will you call Janie?
I'll call her
Monday or Tuesday.
I think I oughtn't to try those tests.
Okay. No,
I'm coming out with you. I'm coming out with you.
Right. Goodbye, fellas.
Bye-bye.
No longer mourn for me when I am dead and gone. That one, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Well, this piano playing of mine is a bit of a fake. I've been playing the piano ever since I was about 10 years old when I took lessons, and I've had a piano around me ever since. But I'm really not a piano player. I'm a fellow that enjoys the piano. I improvise a lot myself. I play pieces, I sometimes play accompaniments, but I don't regard myself as a musician.